stretch from the fingertips down through the shoulder, the ribs, all the way to the waist. Inhale, bring the body back up to the center. Big exhale at the top. Inhale, left hand down to the ground, right arm overhead, right shoulder just above the left. Bring your gaze up high. If it's necessary, feel free just to bring the hand to the shoulder and stop there. Inhale, bring the body back up to the center. Big exhale. Go ahead and bring the hips forward onto your chair. And bring the feet out to the side of the mat. Hands on the thighs. Go ahead and inhale. Deeply raise the chest. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. And let it out. Go ahead and bring the hands up to the shoulders. Bring the elbows up so they're equidistant to the shoulders. And very slowly, like a satellite, bring the entire upper body to the right, rotating those elbows around, looking back over the right elbow. Inhale, bring it all back to the center. Exhale, everything to the left side. Feel the difference in the waist on the two sides. Again, back around to the right. And to your center. And then to the left. And back to center. Release the shoulders, drop the hands down in front, roll the shoulder blades back, bring the chest forward, and begin to bring the body down towards the mat. Feel free to use a block if you need to for a couple extra inches of height. Bring the chin into the chest, drop the top of the head down towards the mat. Feel the stretch in the lower back. See if you can bring your palms all the way to the ground. Roll up slightly, place the hands inside the opposite elbows. Once again, bring everything forward, dropping those arms towards the mat, dropping the head. Very gently rock back and forth within the knees. And release the hands down to the mat again, or your block. Right hand down on the ground in front of you, swing the left arm overhead, big side twist here. Exhale, bring the hand down, left hand on the mat, big inhale, right hand goes overhead, and bring it on down. Roll up halfway, bring your hands just above the knees on the thighs, so the thumbs on the inner part of the thigh and the other fingers on the outer. Elbows go out, and we're going to bring our chest forward. Inhale, and then exhale, round the shoulders. So this is a seated cat-cow. Again, inhale, bring the chest and the chin forward, arch the back. Exhale, bring the shoulders forward, drop the chin, and come up. Move through this a couple times at your own pace with your own breath. Feeling how you're bringing the breath into the spine, loosening everything up and down the spine. And at the end of the next cycle, go ahead and stop at the top. Notice how you feel doing some deep breathing, bringing a nice energizing oxygen into your body. You should start feeling a little bit more awake than you did in the beginning. Go ahead and bring your hips back just about halfway on the chair. Hang on to the side of the chair with your hands. Once again, roll those shoulder blades back, bring the chest forward. Spine is nice and high. Point both the feet and bring them up. Point as hard as you can forward. Hold. Flex the feet, bring the heels forward. Once again, toes. And flex. Pull those belly muscles in tight. Keep the spine high. Point. and flex and point and flex and hold. 3, 2, 1, and now we bring them down slowly, nice and slow. Good job. Good. Go ahead and bring the feet out to the side of the mat again. Bring the hips forward just a little. We'll just do some heel raises on either side, kind of loosen up the feet. Do both feet at once. Great. Okay, now go ahead and come to a standing position. And I'll have you, feel free to use your chair if you want to.
Oh, sorry.
Feel free to use your chair if you want to do any of our downward dogs or planks or anything. If not, feel free to put the chair aside and just work on your mat. Yogi's choice today, what you feel comfortable with. So we're going to start out with the warrior sequence. I'm going to have you place your right foot facing the front of your mat and your left foot behind you about 2.5 feet with the toes of the left foot pointed at a 45-degree angle. So you don't want that back foot parallel to the back of the mat. You want the heel back and the toes forward just a little bit. Then we're going to bend our knee and bring the knee down so you can still see the big toe when you look over it. Take the hips and bring that right hip back so the hips are facing forward towards the front of your mat. Bring the hands to heart center. Inhale, come forward just a little bit. Exhale, raise the arms up. Bring the gaze out in front of you about 5 feet. Roll the shoulders back. Check your balance in both the feet. Make sure you're firmly planted. Inhale and come back up. Nice. Go ahead and walk that front foot forward just about 6 inches more. So now you've got about 3 feet between the legs. And you're going to move that back foot so that now the pinky side is parallel to the back of your mat. Go. And if the right foot's out a little bit, go ahead and bring it in so that it's about halfway to the middle of the back foot. As far as if you were to slice it, it's right in the arch, so the heel's in front of the arch. There you go. And I would move the front foot forward just a little bit. There you go. Good. Okay, again, we're going to bend that front knee so we can still see the toes. But this time we're going to take the hips and move them facing your long side of the mat. Check your knee because it wants to come with you. Make sure that stays out, pointed towards the front. Inhale, raise the spine up. Bring both arms out from the shoulders. Look out over your front arm. Warrior 2. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Bring the arms up together. Touch the fingertips. Exhale, bring it all back down again, nice and slow and graceful. Palms up, inhale, bring it all up and overhead. Exhale it back down. And one more time, palms up, inhale, bring it overhead. Exhale, bring it back down. Good. Go ahead and lift the toes a little bit, make sure your balance is good there. Bring the weight of the back foot to the pinky side so you're nice and spread out as far as balance. We're going to bend that front arm, put it on the front leg, the front thigh, but don't lean into it, just very lightly rest it there. And then the left arm can either come back behind you and bind at the waist, or it can come straight overhead pointing towards the ceiling, or it can come next to your ear for the full expression of the pose. Wherever you end up, I want you to inhale and rotate the heart towards the ceiling so you're looking up in this pose. Check that front knee again, make sure it's not coming in. Big breath in, and with your exhale, come back up so the torso is straight. Truly balancing today. Okay, great. Let's try that from the other side. So we're going to start out with the left foot pointing towards the front of the mat. The right foot is going to have the heel back farther than the toes, and the toes are going to be pointed out at a 45-degree angle. We'll bend that front knee. And then we're going to bring the left hip back and the right hip forward so they're facing the front of the mat. Bring the hands to heart center. Inhale, come forward, lean over that knee. Exhale, bring the arms up. Your gaze comes out about 5 to 6 feet away from your body. Make sure those shoulders are down. Breathe into the ground. Inhale, hands back to heart center and torso up. We'll go ahead and walk that front foot forward. So now the legs are about 3 feet apart, but we're going to move the back foot so that it's parallel to the back side of the mat. Move the front foot a little to the right. So once again, if you were to draw a line, the heel of the front foot is going to dissect the arch of the back. And then go ahead and move the hips towards the long side of the mat and bend the knee. Make sure that the knee stays forward. Arms come up into your warrior two. Inhale, bring the arms overhead, straighten the front leg, hands touch. Exhale, bring it all back down. Inhale, palms up, bring everything overhead. Exhale it back down. And again, palms up, straighten the front leg. Big inhale, tap the fingers together. Exhale, bring it back down to your warrior two. Nice. Now check your toes, make sure your balance is good here. We're going to bend that front arm and put it on the front leg. And then yogi's choice, what you want to do with the back arm. A couple of choices here. Make sure you're rolling the heart, rolling the rib cage towards the ceiling so you're looking up. Inhale, bring the torso upright. Great. And step to the front of your mat. Go ahead and walk it out. Maybe you can do a little circle. Get everything back in place. This thing is looking funny again. See what's going here. Okay.
Very sweet. Yeah. Did you bring in sandwich? Actually, I had one for my sandwich and some green chili stew. Teeny pepper. It's really good.
Outside, inside.
I don't think you really want to, just so way back.
Yeah. Did you go by yourself?
No.
A friend?
You know, Matt, she just had an infinite number of friends.
Okay, so we're standing at the front of our mat now. Look down and have your feet be about shoulder distance apart. Go ahead and raise those toes up high and spread them out. Then roll the shoulders back, bring the chin up. Posture's nice and high. Inhale, bring the hands up, bring your gaze with them overhead. Exhale, bring the hands forward, start to bend the knees and come down and forward. Tapping the floor with your fingers and exhaling all the way back. Inhaling, bringing the arms forward and coming with the hands resting in prayer pose, chair. Go ahead and shoot the rear back just a little bit. Bring the posture up nice and high. Experiment with raising the toes up and lifting them off the mat. Place the toes back down. Great. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, come into a forward fold. Feel free to use a block here if you want to. Inhale, raise the torso up just about 2 inches. Exhale, everything melts down towards the mat. Everything from the waist forward is coming down towards the mat. And once again, very loosely, just swing back and forth, loosening up the waist area. Great.
Go ahead and place the hands on the mat and walk the feet back into downward dog, or use your chair for downward dog. Inhale, bring the hips up towards the ceiling. Drop the top of the head down towards the mat. See how close you can get the heels, stretching those calves out. Inhale, bring your gaze forward. Bend the knees slightly, just about halfway down. Superman pose. Bring the tummy muscles in tight. Breathe. Back up to your downward facing dog. Walk the dog out, alternating, bending the knees. Once again, bring your gaze forward. This time we're going to drop the hips into plank pose. Feel free, if you want to do plank on your knees like this, that is perfectly fine. Or for the full expression, you'll be up on your toes and on your palms. Pull the tummy in tight. Exhale back to downward dog. Walk it out. Bend the knees halfway towards the ground, bring the gaze up, roll the shoulders back. Superman pose. Hold for just a moment. Exhale, bring those hips back up into downward dog and walk it out. And one more time, bring that gaze forward. Legs are straight, shoulders roll back into plank. Either full plank or plank on your knees. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Slowly drop the knees down to the mat. Bring the knees out to the side of the mat. Heels come together and drop those hips back into your child's pose. Keeping the hands out in front, stretching the shoulders. Bringing your forehead down to the mat. Push the hips down into the heels just a little bit further. Great, and inhale, come back up and come around to a seated position. We'll do some yummy fascia work now. So we're going to start on the calf. And so you want to come to a point where the roller is just down by the ankle. Your other foot is sole down on the ground, right foot down with the knee bent. And we're just going to lift the hips up slightly with the hands and roll back and forth on the calf. Go ahead and turn the foot outward and get the outside of the calf. And now roll the foot all the way in and get the inside. Go ahead and switch sides. Left foot goes on the ground with the knee bent. Right leg goes over the top of the roller. And again, we're going to work on the back of the calf first. Letting the weight of our body push our calf into the roller, releasing all those tendons and ligaments and fascia and muscles and everything. Go ahead and turn the foot out to the right. Bring the foot back up and turn it to the left and get the inside of that calf. Okay, we want to bypass the knee joint and bring the roller so it's just below the thighs. And yogi's choice, if you want to do this with your heels on the ground, and as you can see, probably be a little easier. And again, we're going to raise ourselves up and just roll on the back of the thighs. Pull your tummy muscles in when you do this. Don't fall off your roller. We can outtakes of yoga class. Okay, and this is where it gets interesting. So we'll start with the left side. Go ahead and come over onto your left side. I like to do it with one foot on the ground. So I'm going to have my right foot on the ground, the knee bent. I'm going to be on the side of the left leg and just rolling basically just above the knee up through the thigh. And I don't know why this is the first place where it kind of hurts. Must be something that I did in working out this week. Great, and then go ahead and come on over to the right side. Same thing, get up on one leg, so you're like a tripod between the foot and the two hands, and roll. Great. And then what we're gonna do is just, I'm gonna move this, so we'll roll off of it. Come over onto my knees and put this on the front. And I'll just be going basically from the hip bone to above the knee. I don't want to do anything over an actual bone because that'll hurt. And we're not going to do the calves for the same reason on the front because that'll hurt. So you're going to come forward, starting with the roller just above the knee, and just kind of walking yourself back and forth. This is a good little push-up too. And once again, make sure you're pulling your tummy muscles in nice and tight.
And do this without putting my left arm back.
Oh, maybe not, yeah. Let's see. You could do one leg at a time. Or do it from the forearms, so that way, is that still too hard on the shoulders? Sure. And just little micro movements, so you don't have to go very far. Just do a little bit at a time. All right, let's go ahead and work on the back of the body. So we're going to bring the roller behind us. And put your hips down on the mat in front of it. And then hold on to the roller as you come back so that it's kind of the small of your back. And we're just going to walk with the feet upward. So you're getting the bottom half of the back. I don't think you even need to walk really. You can just have your feet on the ground and just roll back and forth. I can help you a little bit here.
So coordinated.
Start out by grabbing a hold of the roller and right and putting it right. You can lean back into it. Is that too hard?
Do I go all the way down?
No, you just want to touch about there, and then you can even hang on to your legs the way you do when you're doing boat pose. Right there, And then can you raise the hips up a little and just roll on the ground? There you go. There you go. You got it. Yeah. And that feels good.
Yeah.
You got it going. All right.
Right, that's a whole different experience.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and then experiment. See if you can walk the roller up behind the shoulder blades and get that spot right between the shoulder blades that talks to us when we drive too much or look on the computer too much. Good job. Everybody's quiet, so it must be good.
Oh, it's very.
Yeah.
Gotta be careful with the long hair.
Yeah,
Once you start in there.
Yeah, and then just experiment, just right before you're done. See if 2 or 3 times you can roll it. And this is good for your tummy too. You're actually doing ab work at the same time. So you'll stop at the bottom of your shoulder blades and then walk it all the way down to the waist.
Okay.
Okay.
You guys keep going.
No,
It's too much of a struggle trying to keep track of the hair.
that was good. All right. And then rather than continue that with the arms, let's just give ourselves, go ahead and grab a block if you want to for a hero's pose and sit on it. And we're just gonna work on our arms ourselves with the other hand. Just go ahead and give yourself a nice little arm massage here. We did this yesterday too, just to reward ourselves at the end of the week. We've been coming to class, we've been walking, we've been good. Work your way down towards the wrist. And when you get there, go ahead and massage the hand. So you've got the thumb on the inside of the palm and all the other fingers are working it. And then I like to just work everything out through the end of the fingers. Great. And then the other side. Down on that forearm. It's amazing how much tension we carry in our arms. You don't realize until you do this. And down into the hand. And the fingers. All right. Let's go ahead and bring our chair back onto the mat and we'll do some work on our back, working on our tummies. Lay down here with the calves on the chair. And if you'd like to, feel free to put a folded up blanket or a block under your lower back if that feels good when you're doing tummy exercises. Then make sure your feet are pressed against the back of the chair and your calves are on the chair, seat of the chair. And then I want you to raise your hips up and tuck them under so the lower back is flush against the ground. And then press the hands into the tummy, push those muscles back towards the spine. And then keeping the hands on the tummy, I want you to bring the right leg up and point it towards the ceiling, pushing that lower back into the ground. Lengthen the leg so you're pointing towards the foot. Really lengthen through the calf and the thigh, push the hips back into the ground, and bring that leg back down. Left foot points up towards the ceiling. Again, stretch out through the foot, through the calf and the thigh, push the hips into the ground, push those tummy muscles back towards the spine, lengthening everything in this area of the body. And drop that leg down. Go ahead and push down into the belly, bring both legs up, pointed towards the ceiling, push that lower back into the ground. Flex so the heels go towards the ceiling, point, flex so the heels go towards the ceiling again, and point. Bring the soles of the feet together. Bring the knees down so you're creating a squat diamond with your legs, and then bring the toes back up towards the ceiling. So you're working the thighs back towards the ground, feet stay together, knees bend and straighten. And once again, bring the calves back to the seat of the chair. Okay, rest for a moment, take a couple big deep breaths here. Bring the hands behind the head, interlace the fingers, bring the elbows out to the side. Now raise the shoulder blades off the ground and lay the top part of the mat flush against the mat so there's no space. And then very gently bring the chin up towards the knees, about 6 inches up, curving the top of the abdomen and coming back down. So you're bringing the sternum up towards the knees and back down. It's a small movement, not a complete sit-up. And up, slower is better. When you get to the bottom, go ahead and rest. Keep the left elbow low now. The right elbow is going to rotate and come up towards the left knee and back down, working that oblique on the side. And up. And now keep the right elbow low and the left elbow comes over, crosses over the body towards the left, towards the right knee. Left elbow towards the right knee. One more, make it good. And bring it back down. Go ahead and rest the hands on the belly. Take a couple deep breaths here. Go ahead and bring the right knee in towards the chest. Hug it in tight. Alternate left knee towards the chest, hug it in tight. One more time each side. Notice hopefully the muscles feel looser in the legs from the rolling that we did. Left knee in. Great. And now we're going to set ourselves up for a yummy restorative session. Last few minutes of class. So I'm going to have you start out with your leg. And we're going to put the blanket folded on the end of it so that it softens it for you. And you're going to start with your right hip against the roller in the blanket. The legs are on top of each other, but not staggered. So that both the knees are pretty close to the edge of the mat. And this leg is kind of halfway down the calf of the body. Bring this leg closer to that way. Not quite so far. There you go. And yeah, if you bring it in just a little bit, you're good. That's good. Yeah, probably right about where you want to go. Don't fall off your roller. Great. And then we're going to rotate the way we were rotating our hips earlier. Now we're going to rotate our shoulders towards the front end of the mat and come down under the forearms. And when you get down there, go ahead and lift the hips up so that you're coming to the side of the hip. So rather than being on the glute, you're kind of on the side of the hip. That'll give you a few more inches to be able to turn. Yes. So too much on your shoulder. You want the weight to be on your chest. Not on your chest. On your chest, yeah. Does it? And would it help to have a block under that arm? No. Then go ahead and drop the head down. If you can, if your spine is feeling loose enough, drop your head with the chin going to the right. If not, go ahead and have it to the left. Go ahead and deep breathe into that pseudo block that we've created. And then inhale and come up. And we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So we're gonna switch and have your left hip next to the blanket roller. And once again, I want you to lift the hip up and come to the side of it. So you're like tilting onto the side of it. Great. And then bring the shoulders forward towards the short end of the block in front of you. And come down onto the floor. And turn your head to whatever side is feeling good for you today. Big deep breaths, big inhale, exhale, pressing the chest into the blanket. Go ahead and inhale and come up. Now we're going to take the roller. Remember when we were rolling our back before? So we're going to take it behind us. And roll it so it's just below the shoulder blade. And depends on your neck. If you need it, if you don't need it, you can just drop the head back and let the top of the head fall to the floor. If that doesn't work for your neck, feel free to put your block behind your head at whatever height would be helpful for you today, whether it's full height, medium height, whatever feels like it's going to support you. Great, and then I want you to bring the soles of your feet together. Great, you got it. Yeah. Did you ever have a walk on the floor with your spine? Try that. How's that? Okay. As you're breathing, bring the heart forward, up towards the ceiling. Big exhales here, letting everything out. Big inhale and exhale. Bring your focus back to the breath. And I'll read you some thoughts about maintaining focus that I came across this week. Focus thoughts, focus body. God is a sculptor who can create the person we want to be. Infinity gaze, to increase focus at work or in your poses. Fix your gaze on a still point in front of you. Soften your eyes so that your gaze or view or drishti becomes meditative and liquid. This is called infinity gaze. Give the mind space. Take a break now and then to practice the standing balance pose, such as tree pose. Fix your eyes on that still point in front of you. Then widen your focus slightly and notice how this broadens your thinking. Observe whether this causes any original ideas to spring forth, and if so, carry them with you for the rest of the day. The mind generally takes up various objects, runs into all sorts of things. This is the lower state. There is the higher state of the mind when it takes up one object and excludes all others. Swami Vivekananda. And that's what we're trying to do in yoga classes, bring all of our state of our mind to just our breath. And finally, the one that I put on the board today. Who looks outside
dreams. Who looks inside awakens. Bring your focus to your breath, to your body. Deepen the inhale so your chest rises. Deepen the exhale and push the hips down towards the ground. And very gently, keeping in mind that you've got a roller behind you, move it aside and go ahead and roll over onto one side, bringing your knees up to the chest into a fetal position.